But I was working at a rape relief domestic violence shelter at the time. And again, being really freaked out about how much violence against women was just like everywhere, and violence against men as well. And this band really was my therapy for that, which was great because every guy in every band wanted to walk up to me and tell me my band sucked and it was just therapy. And I was like, it is just therapy. Wow, you got it. But so I did this, and I went on this tour for like 2 months. And when I was on tour, it was really, really frustrating because every time I would see another girl in a band, I would get super excited, and I would run over and try to talk to them. And if I mentioned feminism, I was always shut down. It was always like, you know, that doesn't matter to me. It's not important. It doesn't play into my life. I just want to be one of the boys. And, you know, I was getting up on stage and singing about like, sexual assault and rape and stuff every night. And even though at the time it was mostly straight white guys who were in the audience, there would always be a couple women at every show. And almost every night, 1 or 2 of them would come up to me and tell me horrific stories of things that had happened to them that they had never told anybody. And I guess they thought I was like cool because I was in a band, and I would end up while my bandmates were getting drunk, like doing crisis counseling, you know, backstage in bars, at parties, after shows, and it was super stressful. And then when I looked for other women to hang out with in bands to like talk to you about it, it was always just a total shutdown, like, well, you know, sexism is over. And I know the same thing is happening now, the backlash that never ends. But there was a lot of articles that came out in the 90s, the late 80s and early 90s, all about how feminism was dead, it was over and unnecessary. And I was in the first generation of people in my family to go to college, and the fact that I learned about feminism, and it changed my life. It made me really want to go out on the road and tell people about it, that it existed, and it was super frustrating when I felt like I was just banging my head against a brick wall. And so I turned back to Zine, and I made this, The Most Beautiful Girl is a Dead Girl. And it was kind of like an art chapbook, and it was just like a bunch of my writing and some images that I'd stolen out of a children's illustrated book about a trip to the doctor. The thing about this zine that changed my life is that a girl named Toby Vale saw it and really liked it, and she gave me her zine in return, and it's called Jigsaw. And as you can see, it says punk rock girls and L. Larson. And on the inside, she had all this writing about bands like Delta 5, Splits, Raincoats. That's Penelope from the Avengers. I think that's behind up there in the corner. But imagine how excited I was that I was in a band meeting all these women who were saying they didn't care about feminism and that it didn't matter that they were girls. And I get this zine in my hand that it's all about women playing music and what it feels like to be an alienated girl. And it kind of, she says it all right there, there's no ideas in Time magazine. And from Toby, she was the one who first gave me that idea that it wasn't just about, you know, this writing that could be therapy for me personally. It was also about deciding that corporations weren't going to make culture for us. We actually had it in our power to make our own culture and to disseminate that. And to claim that, you know, we lived in Olympia, Washington, we didn't live in LA or San Francisco or New York, and that we could also make work that was important. It wasn't just people in New York who were like real artists or real musicians. And she was really the first person who showed me that that could be done. And this was something that she wrote in her zine that happened to her. What do you think of all-girl bands? A girl runs up to the band, all girls, who just finished playing a totally inspiring set. The girl screams, "Oh my God, you're my favorite girl band in the whole fucking world. You have my soul." I'm sure she didn't really say it like this. It sounds like a what's that Claire Danes TV show? Yeah, it's like Bicycle Buzz. Will you be on my compilation tape, please? And they take one look at the screaming girl and say, look, we're really not into the whole all-girl thing. I mean, we want to be taken seriously. Later that day, she says, I want to write about girl bands and why they're important. And he says, they're not important. Bands are important. And at the bottom it says, my feelings are hurt and my heart is broken and I I feel really sort of lost and confused and totally frustrated, and I want to explain. That's part of the reason for this, for Jigsaw. So when I read this, I was like, that is my best friend. She has got to be my best friend, and luckily